Hi, I'm Sherry Colby.
Hi, I'm Debbie Campany.
And we welcome you to Let's Get Real. All right, and we would really appreciate it if you would subscribe and you would share this as we're just getting this show on the road. I know Let's Get Real has kind of got started because we knew that there's topics that Christians want to talk about, but they don't always just want the patent answer. We're just talking, right, Deb, about all the issues in our life.
Exactly.
Oh, don't we all have issues?
We are not without them.
Oh my gosh, I've been in the ministry, 43 years now, and I can tell you, I've had a lot of issues. When you're raising kids and grandkids and extended family,
but
right?
Isn't it those issues, though, that keep us close to God and keep us walking?
Don't we know it? I don't know how people do it without God. About loyalty. Yes. You know, it's something that you just don't see a lot of today. And I'm always taken back to something that I asked the Lord many years ago. You know, we're always asking God for things. We go into prayer, we ask him for all these things and hoping that he's going to answer them, right? Well, one day I was praying and I said, Lord, what is it you want? And as clear as could be, the Lord spoke to me and said, loyalty. So if he could have loyalty, you know, no matter what's going on in our lives, that we just quit, you know, having a relationship with him. And in that, it brought me to a scripture that I was thinking about. I'm going to read this scripture. This was Jesus talking, right? So if we're talking about loyalty, he said in John 2, verses 24 and 25, he was looking at the crowd, the people, and he said, but Jesus would not entrust himself to them, for he knew all men. He did not need men's testimony about man, for he knew what was in man. So he began to understand this. You know what? One day he said to me, love all but trust few. Because he said that's what he does. He said to me, Sherry, I want loyalty, but I love all my children, but I trust few.
That's so true.
You know, so, you know, there's things he wants to reveal to his children or give them, but he doesn't know if he can trust them with the things that he gives them or with knowledge, even knowledge of great revelations in this time.
Well, it says, and you may know where the scripture is, Pastor Sherry, that it says, you know, he takes us from glory to glory, from level to level, from increase to increase. He'll take us, and I think, you know, I remember when I first received Christ, it was like I would pray and things would just happen, right? This newfound faith, and God was really showing me who he was as God, and you know, and that built my faith up. But then I know his word says, be faithful in the little things. So it's those little details, those little things that make up the greater things. You know, the little foxes spoil the vine. So those little things that I think I can get away with, and this speaks to the trust piece, right? Those little things that I think I can get away with that will actually keep me out of what God has for me, the blessings and the goodness and all of that. It'll hinder me in my own walk. And I wanted to look up, I grabbed my phone because I wanted to look up the dictionary definition of loyalty, and it's a strong feeling of support or allegiance.
And that goes with what we're going to be talking about on another show, faithfulness. But so when we think that if this is the way God thinks, you know, the Bible also tells us, come on now, to be wise as a serpent and innocent as a dove. So if he's saying he does not necessarily, can he trust everyone even though he loves them? I believe he's telling us, I want you to show love to everybody, but don't trust everybody.
Exactly. Trust is earned. It's consistent behavior over time. That's what trust is. I'm not just to give my trust away. And I spent my whole, basically 57 years of my life before God really took me into the desert and began to really do the deep healing in me, was that I would just give my trust to anybody. I would just trust anybody.
Because you thought you were supposed, if you loved people because God loved, that you were supposed to this was part of what a Christian does. But no,
it's
no.
earned over time.
And sometimes just like you have to give a little bit and see if you trusted them in that situation. You know, hey, I'm going to share something with you, and I need you not to tell anyone. All right.
Oh, that's such a good one.
Yeah, and if all of a sudden you found out that they did share it, well, you know, in the future you can still have a relationship with them. Doesn't mean to cut them off, but it just means be careful how much you tell them.
Exactly.
You know, I used to always, it's funny, you know, in ministry because you do, you know, so much marriage counseling. And one of the things you always say is be careful how much you even tell your family about things that you and your mate are going through. Because you forgive them, you go on, but there's, you know, the rest of the family's not.
And they don't forget it.
They don't forget it.
No. And that's one thing my mother was always, bless her heart, she would never get involved in. She learned a lesson very early on, and she would never get involved in like my relationship. She literally would, you know, she never held a grudge, you know, and
my mom the same way.
She just, it was really interesting, but that developed over time because early on, I don't remember her that way. She was involved in everything. And I think, you know, we all learn our lessons and mature. And I got to see that in my mom. So,
well, I was fortunate. I didn't have that. My mom, even I could trust her with anything. And she never meddled in Michael and I's relationship. Neither did my mother-in-law. And so, you know, we were fortunate in that area. But just back to that loyalty, if you do find a loyal friend, we know that the Lord is loyal to us. He will always be loyal to us. But when you find that loyal friend, my gosh, that's a gem.
Oh, absolutely. It's
a real gem. You can really share your heart. You're not going to be judged by what you need to share. And it's incredible.
I'm very blessed to have a friend like that I've had for over 25 years. No. I haven't known you that long.
Oh wow!
But literally,
well, I'm gonna gossip about you when I leave.
But that I literally, she just loved me through the ups, the downs, the sideways. She knew I could trust her with every single detail of my life. I knew I was never going to be judged with that. And you know, what an example, what a godly example, just to love somebody. But
how sad when someone doesn't have one.
Exactly.
Because if you have to, as I think we shared before, I always say to even the congregation, you have to have a venting partner. Because sometimes if you don't have a venting partner, then it just, all of a sudden the mind mess gets worse and worse, and you're assuming so many things. And as soon as you can get it out, you sit back and you think about it a little more. But it has to be a venting partner. They vent with you too. That's how you sometimes can know if it's a real loyal relationship. It's going both ways.
You know, it's with my dear friend, one of the tools and the gift, and we realized this, we were just talking about it like a week ago, and we've always been able to vent to each other, but God was in the center of it. And that's with the venting. It's like, I think the loyalty piece just fits in there so well, because when God's in it,
I agree,
there's the loyalty. And bringing God into the venting, that's when I get my answers. I'll get my own answers as I'm venting. I'll be going, God's like downloading, and so my mind's clicking, and I'm going, oh yeah, oh boy, yeah, I see my part in that. Yeah, I see where, or okay, I got to set up some boundaries, or I've got to talk to this person, or whatever it is. And the answers just come, but it's inviting God into it. And think about this, in any relationship, whether it be a work relationship, a friendship, a romantic, whatever it is, siblings, children, if I just invite God into the relationship, God's going to show me, is this the relationship that I need to be in or not? Be willing to see what God shows you, because God may say, run, get away. Yeah. And for me, I have to learn to listen to that voice.
I think even with that and loyalty is, once you know God's voice, sometimes we think someone's loyal to us, and he'll tell us, back off.
Watch out. That
Watch
check
out.
mark, right?
Right.
Yeah, the check mark.
But the thing is, no matter what the other person's doing, right now we're talking about loyalty. It's, are we a loyal person?
Exactly.
Are we a person of our word? Are we loyal?
This is
loyal to God no matter what?
This is so good. I heard this a number of years ago, and I actually heard it in a secular setting. And what the person shared was, don't measure another person's loyalty based upon your level of loyalty. So in other words,
that's very good.
If I think that you're as loyal as I am, I'm already elevated you on a pedestal because I think that, you know, you're going to meet me at my level of loyalty. And that's how hurt and comes into play, because they don't live up to that expectation of, you're as loyal as I am. You're as loyal as I am. So it's that piece of, you know, that's my own, I can deceive myself by saying, well, they're as loyal as I am. And I've had to witness this numerous times in a very close relationship of mine, very loyal person, but the other people are not loyal. They're really using they have used this person. And that's the part, it's very hard to watch that, but there's a lesson in it for anyone observing anyway. But, you know, I don't expect that same level of loyalty. So if I want to show up loyal, that's because I want to show up loyal. Not that I'm expecting anything else in return. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense. Okay. Well, I think we covered this topic on loyalty, and we just pray that you have an absolutely blessed day. If you don't have a home church, we would love to have you come visit Victory Worship Center at 1915 North A Street in Lake Worth Beach, Florida. Our Sunday service is at 10 a.m. and the Tuesday experience at 7 p.m. Have a blessed day.